Welcome to this explainer. Today we're diving into a date that carries an absolute ton of gravity in Islamic history, the 10th of Muharram, which is widely known as the Day of Ashura. We are stepping into a genuinely profound historical narrative here. It's a story packed with severe trials, divine mercy, and just ultimate sacrifice. It's literally a story of radiant light piercing through some of the deepest darkness imaginable. Our goal today is to cut through the noise. We're going to separate the historical facts and deeply held spiritual realities from the popular myths, and we'll lay it all out clearly so you can truly grasp the incredible weight of this day.
Okay, let's dive into this, because there's this really fascinating tension surrounding the 10th of Muharram. On the one hand, it's totally anchored by historical events that have shaped the spiritual landscape of millions of people. But on the other hand, there are these persistent, super dramatic rumors out there, specifically the claim that Qayamat, Judgment Day, is going to happen on this exact date. So in this explainer, we're going straight to the sources to answer one absolutely crucial question. Are these apocalyptic rumors actually grounded in truth, or does the real, world-changing power of Ashura lie entirely in its past?
To understand the weight of this day, we first have to look back, like way back. According to ancient traditions, the 10th of Muharram has long been viewed as this incredible day of divine grace for the prophets. Tradition tells us that on this very day, Prophet Adam's repentance was accepted. It's the day the ark of Prophet Nuh, or Noah, finally came to rest on Mount Judy after that massive flood. It marks the exact day Prophet Musa, Moses, and the Israelites were miraculously saved from the Pharaoh's tyranny. And it doesn't stop there. It's also recorded as the day Prophet Yunus was freed from the belly of the whale, and when Prophet Ayub was finally cured of his immense physical suffering. In every single one of these eras, it's like a recurring theme, a burst of radiant light piercing through the darkness, symbolizing divine rescue.
Now, while these stories of deliverance and mercy are deeply, deeply ingrained in the tradition, I want to pause and be completely objective here for a second. As our sources clearly point out, there's actually, a bit of a difference of opinion among religious scholars regarding the exact historical dates of these ancient miracles. The narratives themselves? Absolutely core to the faith, but definitively pinning every single one of them down to the 10th of Muharram, that's actually a subject of ongoing scholarly debate. Let's move to and see how this builds, though, because whether those ancient miracles landed precisely on this calendar date or not, they set the thematic stage for an event we know absolutely, without a doubt, occurred. Everything changes, and I mean everything, when we reach the year 61 AH in the Islamic calendar. The scholarly consensus is 100% rock solid on this point. As our source material states, the greatest and most painful event of the 10th of Muharram occurred in 61 AH at Karbala. This right here is the pivot point of our explainer. The focus violently shifts from these ancient stories of deliverance to an unparalleled narrative of sacrifice. Back in 61 AH, on the harsh plains of Karbala, the grandson of the Prophet, Imam Hussain, along with the Al-Bay, the pure household, and this remarkably small group of fiercely loyal companions, made the ultimate sacrifice for the sake of truth and righteousness. Their monumental stand in the desert, we don't remember it through physical depictions of their faces. Instead, it's remembered as this brilliant, pure light, cutting right through the pitch-black darkness of oppression. It was a completely heart-wrenching tragedy, for sure, but the sheer illumination of their sacrifice left a mark on history that will literally never fade. And this brilliantly illustrates the true power of the 10th of Muharram. You see, the tragedy of Karbala wasn't just some historical event that ended quietly in the desert sands. It birthed a legacy that is incredibly relevant to the entire world right now, today. It stands as an eternal pillar for an unwavering commitment to the truth. It demonstrated supreme patience in the face of unimaginable, overwhelming grief. It showed what ultimate steadfastness really looks like. And above all else, it laid down the absolute blueprint for resistance against tyranny and oppression. That is the real, grounded historical weight of Ashura. But history is really only half of the narrative surrounding this day. There is another, way more existential side to the question we started with. You've probably heard this claim echoed in various communities, the idea that Qayamat, the Day of Judgment, will fall on the 10th of Muharram. It's a highly dramatic, fear-inducing concept, right? And it totally shifts the focus away from historical reflection and straight into apocalyptic anxiety. So what do the core texts actually say about this? Now, what's really interesting about this is how clear the texts are when you look at them closely. There is a massive separation between myth and definitive truth here. On one hand, yes, we have what are classified as weak traditions. There are indeed a few weak narrations floating around that mention Qayamat happening on Ashura. That's exactly where the rumor started. But on the other side, we have the absolute foundational source. The Quranic truth explicitly and emphatically states that the knowledge of the final hour rests solely and exclusively with Allah. Let's reinforce this because honestly, it is the ultimate mythbuster. The exact timing of Judgment Day is an absolute, heavily guarded divine secret. Our source material couldn't be any clearer on this. No human, no angel, and no prophet has certain knowledge of when that final hour is going to strike. It is completely beyond the grasp of all creation. So to claim that we know for a fact it'll happen on the 10th of Muharram, that directly contradicts the core theological tenet of absolute divine knowledge. And to put a final seal on this whole thing, we just have to look at the experts of the tradition themselves, the Muhaddithin. These are the incredibly rigorous scholars of Hadith, who literally dedicate their entire lives to verifying historical claims. Well, they've reached a consensus. They have not deemed the traditions pointing to an Ashura apocalypse as reliable, period. Therefore, our source concludes impartially and definitively, it is simply incorrect to say that Qayamat will definitely occur on the 10th of Muharram. The myth is, for all intents and purposes, thoroughly debunked. So, where does that leave us? We've explored these massive historical tragedies and triumphs, and we've completely cleared away the apocalyptic myths. If we aren't supposed to be paralyzed by the fear of one specific date circling on the calendar, what's the actual takeaway here? How are we supposed to apply the immense gravity of the 10th of Muharram to our lives right now? What should our preparation actually look like? So the crucial point is this. Real preparation isn't about waiting anxiously for a specific day. It is a continuous daily effort. Drawn straight from the guidance in our sources, true preparation means establishing your regular prayer. It means reciting the Quran and engaging in dhikr, the daily remembrance of God. It's about getting out there and actively performing good deeds every single day. And to tie it directly back to the legacy of Karbala we talked about, it requires a profound love for and adherence to the teachings of the Ahlul. These aren't just abstract ideas. They are the actionable, spiritual steps that carry the true essence of Ashura forward into our modern lives. Which kind of brings us to our final thought for today. The 10th of Muharram isn't meant to make us sit around fearing the end of the world. It is meant to show us exactly how to live in it. It poses a deeply provocative question to all of us. Instead of fearing a date on a calendar, are we stepping calmly into the light, living every single day prepared for our own final hour? Are we actually embodying the truth, the patience, and the steadfastness of those who sacrificed absolutely everything at Karbala? That is the real takeaway of this explainer. The history is written, the myths are dismantled, but the preparation, well, that happens right now.